Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Are you sick of Flash games? Well, don't worry. We're watching a JaeDong game. He just happens to be playing against Flash. Okay, we're on Apocalypse. I can't pass up Flash versus JaeDong. Can't do it, won't do it, won't apologize. Thank you for watching ArtosisCasts, guys. I hope that you are enjoying this deep foray into watching Flash come back. This might be the only time that we ever get to see something like this, ever, in anything, okay? Think about this, right? StarCraft is a mechanical and strategy game. The greatest player ever by miles that everyone agrees is the greatest goes away for a long time, comes back quietly into a completely changed strategic landscape. He actually did do this before, by the way. When he returned from StarCraft 2, he literally solved Arbiter. Arbiter was destroying everyone in Protoss vs. Terran. And Flash came in and showed how to play against it. And yeah, it just completely changed the metagame and helped Terrans out. Like, literally, there were all memes about Terran just being a trash race before that, before he came back from StarCraft 2. Anyways, here he is again, right? And he's going to try to figure out different ways to play in this current meta. And the meta has changed in every single matchup, right? So in Terran versus Protoss, of course, 5 Factory reigns supreme, and we've seen him trying upgrade Terran builds with very fast thirds. And honestly, like, he's winning some of the games, but it's not really working. Okay, can we agree it's not really working? Like, Flash in different days, like in different times, like, he would smash people with this when he gets these advantages, but they're like, players much below him are like destroying all of his tanks and making the games long and drawn out and having to make mistakes for him to win. And then against Zerg, and look at this, this is command center first, and we've seen this from him already here on Apocalypse. This is a tight wall, so unless they go pool first, you're very good here. But yeah, against Zerg, right now in the metagame, everyone's just trying to bust Zerg because it's like impossible to kill Zerg. Every Zerg is getting to the late game no matter what. And Terrans are just having a hard time killing, right? Like, Defilers basically make you invincible. So it's a very tough matchup. Most Terran players consider it to be harder than Terran versus Protoss at the moment. You know, normally it's really Terran versus Protoss oh, there is actually a hole here. I'm sorry. But still, that's an excellent wall. This is tight. This is tight. This is tight. And then you have a little hole that you have to block. But anyways, I never wall, guys, because too many people 4-pool me due to latency. Anyways, yeah. Most of the time, Terrans think that playing against Protoss is hard, but like right now, everyone's kind of in agreement that it's very difficult to play specifically against Zerg because they are bringing it to late game. And what have we seen from Flash in his game so far? We've seen a lot of tank pushes, one factory siege tank push, right? He hasn't been doing the busts. Busts are not a long-term strategy, right? A bust is something you might use in a tournament to pick up a quick win. But like, if you're known to just bust, like right now, if you watch light TVZs, most of the light TVZs that I've seen in important matches like KCM and stuff, he's just like 5 racks plus 1, right? Just go, try to kill him. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's hard. It's a good thing to do if the matchup's really hard. Now, what Flash has been doing, he's been doing siege tank pushes, so that's like more of a timing-oriented thing. We've seen mech out of him, right? You know, we haven't, like, I think we saw one game where he went Valkyrie, but I think that game turned kind of normal. Valkyries are pretty popular amongst the other Pro Terrans right now. He is making a factory here and second gas, so this is going to be probably mech. It could be starports. We'll see if he starts that second factory in a moment. But yeah, the Overlord comes in to try to check. Third base for JaeDong here. You know, this is an excellent base to, or a map in general to do tricky tech builds on, because the gas at the natural can't be seen by Overlords. So you're not entirely sure what's going on. Double armory build. Oh my God. Okay. So, yeah, specifically, double armory requires a ton of gas. So he's going to be rushing up to 1-1 super, super fast. I remember this build popping up a few years ago, and I was like really confused. In fact, I want to say all the games I saw of the double armory build, I think they all turned into losses. I can't remember 100%, but I do remember this coming up a few years ago. We'll see what this does for him. Like, this has to be Goliath based. That's the only thing, like, because, you know, JaeDong is going to go mutas, so you're going to have to make a ton of Goliaths. We did see a mass Goliath build from Flash against JaeDong, played several days before this. Okay, so just to keep this in mind as you're watching the replays, I believe I've kept everything in chronological order, at least definitely matchup wise. So far, that's been the case. Where it might be like, oh, this TVT was played before the TVP or something. But I'm splitting all those up, right? Because they're all different matchups anyways. And I'm kind of clumping them together so we have like this continuous storyline of him learning and innovating. But anyways, yeah, this was several days after the other mass Goliath game that we've seen against JaeDong. Now, JaeDong diving in here. He takes out the turret pretty quickly. He's playing very aggressively. This is actually a good way to play against Goliath builds. If you get in and kill the first few Goliaths, you can snowball a lot of the time. And that looks to be exactly what JaeDong's trying to do. Ooh, a little misfire there. Now, 2 Goliaths sitting back. Goliath range not done yet. Once he gets these 3 out, he'll be okay. He'll actually stabilize. One thing to mention is that JaeDong is not very high on drones right now. He definitely made a few extra units here, but he is droning up a little bit behind this. So continuing to harass some of the SCVs. SCV count still very good for Flash at 36. Command Center First will do that for you. Dives in on top of these Goliaths, trying to get this one that's being repaired. Okay, does end up getting it, but he loses a lot of mutas. So this is now stabilized. Okay, he has 1-1 on the way. 3 factory Goliaths making. Starport, so he's going to be going into 2-1. I mean, I'm sorry, 2-2, of course. Very, very quickly here. And he's getting Vulture speed. So basically, he's not going to have enough gas to fund pure Goliath plus getting Starport Science Facility 2-2. He's going to get that Vulture speed and then start utilizing Vultures to keep some pressure onto JaeDong. Like, if JaeDong switches into... the Vultures will let him know, basically, if there's a switch into Hydralisks. And if he does do that, then we're going to have to see a switch into Siege Tanks. There could be a world where there's a big tempo advantage for Flash, though. And he could stay on Goliaths, especially if he has this position up here. But I don't think we're going to see something like that. That would be a really weird way that this game could develop. Now, JaeDong running in here once again, but there are enough Goliaths. He just had them spread. Some up here to zone out mutas, because obviously this area could be hurt, and then some down here. So you can see JaeDong is actually being very smart. He's pulling out of vision a lot of the time. He brought in some Lings there as well for some tanking. Now jumps in on top of these Goliaths once again. JaeDong doing a very good job at reducing the Goliath count consistently. Right, this reminds me actually some of Flash's TVPs, right? Where he's trying to go so heavy on upgrades and then his opponent is aggressively getting in and reducing the unit counts because the production is very low anyway. So reducing unit counts really sets you back and puts you on the back foot. And if they get, you know, critical mass in your base, they could kill you. And that seems to be like what JaeDong is mostly doing here. He's killed off so many Goliaths at this point, but does pull back. The cost efficiency, I think, is actually slightly in Flash's favor, and it's going to get better with this 1-1 finishing. Oh my god, he made a Valkyrie. That is not what I was expecting there. But yeah, adds in a Valk. Let's see the upgrades. Yeah, it's +1 attack, not armor. So that Valkyrie is going to be worthwhile for a long time. There is Flyer Carapace on the way. Up to 32 drones now. So he's added 9 drones throughout this. And obviously a few more for these buildings. The Hydralisk Den going to be on the way. I think that's definitely a good choice. And after he gets up to enough Goliaths that he feels like he's safe here with the 1-1 upgrades, he starts some Vultures. And with that +1, there'll be 2-shotting drones. So really, really good. Throws up another turret. He does have this Valkyrie, which is going to get crushed. Mutas just target that down. So Flash a little bit slow in pulling that back. Probably shouldn't have had it here. Probably should have had it here. I think he could have saved it if it was just slightly further back there. Or at least punish the Mutalisks heavier if they had gotten it. Now, here comes the Speed Vulture run out. This is a really important moment. If he can get a bunch of drones, and oh my god, he's going to. runs up, and he is going to kill a lot of drones here, guys. Eggs go up, but they do not actually block this, unfortunately. Good drill there by JaeDong to get rid of one of them. The thing is, the vultures are so fast, he can just chase these all down as they leave. So he kills every drone at this additional base. That is terrible for JaeDong. JaeDong was actually doing very well until that. Like, I wouldn't say necessarily just straight winning. The game was very interesting, and now 27 workers to 54. JaeDong's going to have to drone for a bit, which means he's just going to have a slightly smaller army. Can he actually prevent this? Actually, I think he might be able to target it down straight up. He's going to force a cancel on that. Third commands are on location, not working out for Flash. Oh, that's so funny. He had already right-clicked away, and then he canceled. He might... There's some chance that JaeDong flying away there, like, he might have been able to not cancel it. Anyways, that would have been, like, bad play on both sides. That was actually the correct move, probably both places. Okay, so Hydra's being made now. He's getting Overlord speed. Yeah, we might see Overlord drops at some point. That's definitely a possibility, but he might want that as well for dealing with possible spider mines out there. Third command center coming up. Of course, 2-2 is still on the way here for these Goliaths. As they hit 2-2, that's pretty damn scary. It's really good upgrades for mech. 2-2 is legit scary stuff. Now, the Muta's flying in, and they're trying to reduce... Oh, wow. Oh, my God. I don't know how he afforded a vessel with a Irradiate. That's actually been popular lately, trying to mix in Irradiate with some of the weird mech builds that have been popping up to try to deal with this Zerg won't die epidemic. All right, forces those Mutas back. Hydralisk count growing. Mines on the way right now. Siege Tank Vulture, for the most part, being made. I think at this point, he's reduced the Mutas enough that he knows that it's going to... Like, I think JaeDong lays off Mutas and then re-dives into Mutas hard later, because he's got 1-1 upgrades, so they're actually still kind of able to fight. Right? They're only down 2 upgrades. So I would like to see him revisit Mutalisks a little bit later on. Now, more Vulture Tank coming in. Because the thing is, I think Flash is going to mostly just sit on a handful of Goliaths at this point. Like, just keep what he's got. A couple Vultures trying to rush in to kill drones. Nothing there. Hydra's going to push those out. +3 attack on the way for Flash. See if he gets that +3 armor as well. Gets this gas up, of course, immediately. Overloads it with SCVs. And just kind of playing a very defensive position here now. So we heard a scan. I feel like one of the main things you're going to want to look for is there a queen switch? If there is no switch into queens, Flash can take his time and like max out and get these upgrades. If there's a switch into queens, like as soon as you see queens popping out, you have 2 minutes before the queens are effective, right? So that can force you into some attacks. Now, the Hydra's coming up. He does have that speed upgrade on the Overlord, so is able to spot these mines and clear them. Not going to lose anything to mines. Good defensive position set up here from Flash. 3-3 is on the way. 3 add-ons for his siege tanks. And here come these Mutas just diving in and right-clicking on siege tanks. Having a hard time actually finishing them off, unfortunately. The Hydra's trying to come in here. More tanks coming up. The missile turrets plus Goliaths doing such a good job. SCVs being pulled as well, and JaeDong just unable to break. That's unfortunate because, like, it wasn't super close to breaking. I see what his idea was here, but now his supply is very badly hurt. He may have felt like he had to do that after he lost all the drones up in this area because he knows that this is going to scale unbelievably. But look at the follow-up. He's going Queen's Nest now. If you can win this position as JaeDong, Zerg is imbalanced. Like, there's just... After spending his entire army there and really not coming close to breaking it, like, if you have a bigger army, you can make the math harder for Terran on when and how to move out. And I feel like that's the time that you go into Queen. Maybe he just starts Hive. No, he does go Queens. The thing is, you can go Queens. It's just you need to have an army that can threaten counterattacks or kill Terran if they're on siege, that type of thing. And he just doesn't have that now. Like, this army could attack, move, and kill all these Hydras, right? The Hydras are like 1 upgrade. These are 4 upgrades, soon to be 6 upgrades. So he's gonna... Yeah, that attack really screwed him up. And the queens being the last ditch effort as opposed to let's have this army that's dangerous. Right? Like Flash had to pull his SCVs. So when you see something like that, you can tell the army couldn't, for instance, move out and take this position and secure a fourth, right? So if you go queens at that point, you're putting pressure on your opponent by transitioning, right? Sometimes transitions can provide insane pressure, right? Like, for instance, think about when someone starts making carriers in Protoss vs. Terran. Terran's like, well, shit, I'm going to have to attack. I can't let him get up to 10 carriers. No one can beat that, right? So that's kind of what the queens could have done there. Instead, the thing is, the game's not over. I'm not trying to say the game's 100% over. There is still a chance, right? We haven't seen Mech be successful for quite some time, but Flash has a lot of time here. He has amazing upgrades. You can see JaeDong's supply is so much lower. What if JaeDong right now had all those Hydras? What is it? 2 groups of Hydras and a group of Mutas? Yeah, Flash would be a bit higher supply, but so would JaeDong, and I feel like he would have that time to transition. And now look at this, right? I said 2 minutes after the queens pop out. That's how long you have. The queens, we are still a minute out from Broodling. Flash moving across. His army is just so much better right now. He is just plowing through. He's got +3 attack, +2 armor against just +2 attack on these Hydras. He is crushing absolutely everything. JaeDong on 4 bases here, but his army's so small. If he tries to attack this at all, he's just going to lose everything. If he gets every Broodling off, he might. If he macros up... Thing is, I hear Hydra's dying nonstop, so he is pulling back. Broodling not even going to be ready. He's hitting his timing here. GG. Flash takes down JaeDong with mech.